If you're dealing with a panel that is cupped on you the way that this one has for me, I'm going to show you how to fix it in this video. Okay, before we get into the fix for this, let's talk for a minute about why we got into this situation in the first place. The number one reason for this type of wood movement after glue up is due to your stock material not being dry enough. It's always a good idea to check your rough lumber with a moisture meter like this pinless one that I use before getting started milling your material. If your wood isn't dry enough, set it aside and wait for it to dry or acclimate to your shop. If your rough lumber is still really wet, which would be anything above 10% moisture content, you'll need to either take it to someone who has a kiln or set it aside and let it continue to dry until it gets down to somewhere between 10 and 12% moisture content, and then allow it to acclimate to the relative humidity of your shop before using it to make any furniture. But for the purposes of this fix, let's assume that the only thing wrong with your panel was that it moved after you took it up out of the clamps. In my case, I had just taken it out of the clamps, hand planed it flat, and sanded it with 100 grit sandpaper, and then immediately went out of town for the weekend in mid-July and left it flat on my assembly table. The reason that's a problem is that I had a dehumidifier running in my shop, a window air conditioning unit running, and it's mid-July. Honestly, I think this could happen any time of the year. This type of cupping can occur in a board or a panel anytime one side of the material is allowed to become drier than the other side. So by putting the bottom side of this panel flat on my assembly table and then leaving for the weekend in midsummer, it allowed the top of this panel to become drier and it cupped toward the top side of the panel. That's why it's always important anytime you're milling parts for a piece of furniture to stack and sticker your parts, including big panels like this one, to allow wood to flow evenly on the top and bottom sides of them. Your parts are going to move a little bit after you do any milling or sanding or hand planing. It's just the nature of wood. All right, so how do we fix this? Is our only option to continue to hand plane it or throw it through the drum sander and continue to remove material? Thankfully, no. And I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to fix this right now.
The principle here is the same one I mentioned earlier. We want to create a condition in which one side is drier than the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is dampen a towel with water and place the panel on top of it with the convex side up, because we want it to bend back the other way, away from the direction it's currently cupped. Next, I'm going to set up one of these cheap box fans I have on full blast and point it directly at the panel. Then basically turn on anything else I have available to move air around in the shop, like this window AC unit and my dehumidifier. These things will basically speed up the process, and there's not really any reason to go slow with this. I use a level to establish a baseline for how much it needs to flatten out. Right now it's cupped by about 3/16 of an inch. I'll continue checking while I work on other things. A couple hours later, the panel has already changed too much, cupping back in the other direction. That's how fast this process works. So I'll flip it over and repeat the process. This time, I'll check at shorter intervals, so I'll make use of a timer on my phone. Eventually, it was back to being flat, and I could stop this process and sticker the panel until it's time to install it.
All right, well, I could not be happier with how well this approach turned out. If you enjoyed this tip, I hope I've earned a like or subscribe. In the meantime, watch these videos.